celebration, I might have a toast with you. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, I'm terrific. We ain't taking no losses, we winning. Undefeated, check the percentage.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate everybody that's tapped in already. And for all the ones that are going to tap in, man, we appreciate you as always, man. I have a special guest tonight, man. I'm super excited that I was able to set this one up, honestly, because I have a lot of questions and I know he has a lot of answers. So we're going to definitely get to it, man. I know a lot of y'all are going to know who I'm bringing up on stage. Y'all see the thumbnail, y'all see the title, all that, man. But make sure you hit the like button so we can get the community in here real quick, too, before we start the show. I just want to make sure everybody is aware. We got one of our brothers, man, SKOL Mafia, my SKOL bro. You feel me? He had a situation with one of his friends. I mean, you can ask him in the chat. He wants to touch on it. He can touch on it. But I pinned the Venmo at the top. All right. Sometimes you don't even got to ask. You just know if we're talking about it, then you know you got to be there to support. That's just how we do over here. So the Venmo is posted at the top of the chat. So make sure you click that and support my brother, man, for sure. Got to do it. All right. But with that being said, man, let's go, man. Let me bring up my guy, man. Dustin, what's good?
Hey, what up? How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Hey, look, I had to let him know, man. I'm excited to have you on. You know, I hope you're doing well. You've been doing well. I know you said before the show started, we haven't touched bases really. Like, I actually had you on a show in 2021, finishing up the 2021 season.
Yeah, I know. Last time I remember vividly that you guys on the show were real high on Dalvin Cook, and then, if I remember correctly, this was not a very Kirk Cousins friendly show at the time.
Nah.
So there was a divide. It was like pro Dalvin, and let's move on from Kirk. So here we are, 3 years later, and on the cusp of the JJ McCarthy era. Let's do it.
Let's go, man. Hey, and I gotta say, that hoodie is fire, man. Shout out Malik. Malik said that hoodie fire though, like for sure. That hoodie fire. Damn, where'd you get that?
It was a Christmas gift from my wife about 4 years ago, and it's kind of my go-to moments like this when I haven't been on your show in a while, or to big games or something like that. So yeah, I appreciate the shout out on the sweet shirt.
Yeah, man. Nah, I feel honored, man. You pull that out the closet to get on Vocal VIKE, man. That's lit. That got me jealous a little bit, man. I need it, man. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all supporting tonight. Make sure you hit the like button, man, so we can get everybody in here. Again, I got to remind y'all, it's free. Hit the like button, man, so we can get the crowd popping tonight. Dustin, man, listen, there's been a lot going on since 2021. We'll just say that. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna go all the way back there. You know, I kind of want to talk about, you know, the future and where the Vikings are headed now. And I know you do a lot of work behind the scenes. I mean, you write for Vikings Territory, which I actually enjoy reading the articles. I was telling you backstage, I read the articles. I need to start sharing them more, supporting you more, man, in that way. But I do want to let you know that I do read them, and I appreciate your work. All right,
Yeah, hell yeah. I appreciate you reading them. You don't need to share them worldwide. They do a decent job on their own getting to eyeballs. But yeah, I got a lot of good people that work there. Yannick Eckhart, who if you ever want on this show, I could set that up. Adam New from England. Ted Schwerzler, he covers the Twins. Then he writes at Vikings Territory. So yeah, all day, every day. And right now, believe it or not, is kind of the drier period because we got 4 weeks until training camp. But then in August, we start to whittle that roster down to 90 men. It really gets popping. And, you know, this summer, you can really feel the excitement. I've been thinking about how exciting this summer is. I think it's like the most exciting lead up to a season, probably either arguably to 2018 when we still thought we could get back to the NFC Championship, or if you don't believe in that, certainly going into 2010, which didn't end up very well. But there's just so much excitement right now because we're finally doing the thing with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I want to ask you real quick about JJ McCarthy. Like, were you heartbroken when the injury happened last year? Or did you? Let me ask you this: how'd you? First of all, I guess we can go back to last year just a little bit, right? Just one question about it. How'd you feel about the Sam Darnold pickup at the time? Like, now hindsight's 2020, obviously, but like at the time, like if you just can take yourself back to that moment, did you think Sam Darnold was a good pickup at that moment? And did you have any faith that JJ was possibly going to take the starting job before the season started? Or how'd you see the season really panning out before the injury happened?
Okay, so in that March, I think it was March, like overnight, it felt like when they signed Darnold, my reaction was really him, because I didn't want a quarterback with that high of draft stock to get in the way of whichever rookie quarterback we would eventually draft. I was a Drake May guy leading up to the draft and then quickly got on board with McCarthy. So once I realized that, all right, they're going to do this play it safe plan, they're going to have the best of both worlds, it took me about a week. And then I warmed up to Darnold's upside. The arm strength, as we now know, was certainly there. But heading into last season, I thought that, we're probably looking at 10-7 if everything goes absolutely fantastic. So I kind of slowballed them into, they ended up being 14-3. So I did not like the Sam Darnold move in the moment. But as you got to summer, I knew that's what he does every summer. Training camp, preseason, he looks like a baller. And then he balled. And the reason that I'm glad that he's not on this roster anymore, aside from the obvious fact that I'm ready to start the McCarthy era, is if they would have re-signed him for, hey, let's play this safe and have the best of both worlds, we would have had to wait a whole year to figure out if his playoff demons were repeatable. And that would just be so devastating if they were cruising along through this murderous schedule in front of us and, hey, they're 12-2 again. We'd all be waiting on pins and needles until the playoffs to figure out, all right, is this guy just a complete moron when it gets to the postseason? So I'm very glad that we have McCarthy with a clean slate. But I will say Darnold played fantabulously for 17 weeks, 36 total touchdowns, 4,300 passing yards. So I do tip the cap to him getting his career reclamation. But I am very honest about I'm glad he is gone.
No, I feel the same exact way, man. I guess we're in the same boat there. A lot of people in the chat feel the same way too. Like when we talk about this subject, it was only right, man. Listen, we went out, we number 10 pick. You get JJ McCarthy. He has to play, man. He has to play. I mean, it's just that simple. Like you don't want to spend that draft capital. At least this is my opinion. Is you don't want to pick a quarterback with the 10th pick, spend that capital, injury or not, and then just keep dragging it along to where you actually don't see him start until his third year. Like what the whole point is to see what he has on his rookie contract and try to use as much of that as possible, right? Isn't that the idea for the most part?
That's why I was so glad that we didn't get hoodwinked into the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. That gripped the Vikings rumor mill and community for about a month. Yeah. And I could see it like, oh, of course he can emulate Favre. He's a Hall of Famer. It'll be fun. And it got to the point where I was like, God, if they do that, what are my emotions going to be? But I'm glad they held off. To answer the second part of your question, I did not think that McCarthy would dethrone Darnold in the summer, although in those couple weeks, it felt like it was getting close. Mm-hmm. But I think in hindsight, they were going to roll with Darnold no matter what. And then as well as Darnold played, I don't know if we would have seen McCarthy anyway. With that said, from the very beginning, since draft night 2024, I wanted them to start McCarthy or whichever guy they drafted, so long as it wasn't Bo Nix, because I'm right there with you. You've got 4 years, and then depending on how well he plays, the fifth-year option can get rather expensive. But right now, we have 3 or 4 years to get this bastard right. Otherwise, we got to start doing the thing where McCarthy's going to make $70 million by the time we get there if he's any good. Right. So we have this precious window of 3 or 4 years right now. And the only team that drafts a quarterback and sits on his ass is the Packers. That's the only team that does that. Bless their heart, worked for them twice. But everybody else, if they're going to do this, let him marinate on the bench so he can learn. Great. But they don't do it for 3 years like Green Bay does. So I'm glad that we got over the hump of this meniscus tear, and we didn't do bullshit like sign Rodgers or bring Darnold back or have a competition with Daniel Jones. I'm very glad it's time for the McCarthy era.
No, I agree 100%, Dustin. Real quick, shout out Brendan 199, man. I see you, man. I know you left a fun fact, but real quick, we got company on the show. Y'all know chat, man. Y'all know we very engaged in the chat. I want y'all to stay active in the chat, but we got company on the channel, so I'm not gonna be like stopping every. Y'all know how it goes. I don't have to explain. Brendan hasn't been here in a while though, so But shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, Brendan, for the 199, man. I appreciate you, man, and I will get to it for sure. I'll get to it eventually, but I want to ask you this too. That's like, I mean, because I feel like even now though, right? Like you talk about the Packers and they're able to sit quarterbacks for whatever, 3 years, 4 years, and whatever the case may be, and think that and it works. Like you said, it's worked so far, right? But like I always have this conversation about like quarterbacks nowadays. Like I'm talking about maybe the past 3, even 4, maybe 5 years too, where they're coming into the league a little more ready than we used to see back in like, the Tom Brady days, the Peyton Manning days, those type of days where it was it was like absolutely you had to sit and learn for a year or two, a couple years, to where now I mean, it seems like some of the guys, a lot of the guys are coming in able to play. Now, I don't know if I'm just maybe blinded by last year's draft class, because I feel like 4 out of 5 of those quarterbacks actually look like they can be starters for a long time. And if JJ comes in and looks good, I mean, you're talking about possibly one of the best QB draft classes, I mean, almost ever. I don't know. Shit, if he comes out and balls, you know what I mean? We got to see what happens. But I mean, I say that to say, like, a lot of people put this thing on JJ McCarthy where he needs to sit. But I always push back on that and say, hey, look, man, these quarterbacks are coming in ready to play more and more as the years continue, man. The training that they get from the moment they're in Pop Warner football all the way through college, high school, college, up into the NFL. I mean, I just feel like they're a little more ready.
Yes, sports evolve. I'll give you a couple examples. Like in baseball, about 2 weeks ago, there was a tweet, I think from Alec Lewis, but there was a tweet from somebody that said, tip of the cat to Aaron Judge for hitting against this pitching that is the best pitching that the sport has ever seen, like in general. And I ask one of my big baseball expert friends, is pitching really better nowadays than it was in like 1990? And they're like, oh, hell yes. It's the same thing, like the adaptation of the philosophy. Quarterbacks are game ready more now. Or, for example, in basketball, if you transplanted these Thunder that just won the championship against like a team from 1987, 1997, the team right now would probably beat their ass because they are so conditioned to shoot 3-pointers. Like that is what we do now. That doesn't mean that over time that the 90s team couldn't get better, in this hypothetical scenario, but sports change. And I agree with you here. You probably couldn't damage Michael Penix by sitting him for 3 years, or God forbid, Caleb Williams has to wait behind some dipshit in Chicago for 3 years. But that doesn't mean that you're going to just, slow cook him and make him better. It just means you might be wasting your time. So I agree with you that not every guy is ready. There are dudes that could stand to sit there and develop. Like Anthony Richardson probably should have sat for 2 seasons, and then you could have taken off the cape right now and said, what do you got? But now, conversely, the Colts were trying to figure out Daniel Jones is going to win that job and get the Vikings a better compensatory pick. So on the whole, I am with you that I don't have a grievance if you have a great situation and you want to wait until midway through the season, like the Patriots did with Drake May. But doing it just to do it because that's how we did it when we were kids, that's a stupid reason.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's where I'm getting at with it. Like just doing it just because it's like, oh, you're a rookie. You can't imagine if the Washington Commanders just went with that, like was like, you're good. You're really good at football, Jaden Daniels, but you know what? It's only right. You got to sit a year. All right, you got to sit. It's like, come on. I think that kind of would have hurt him more than it would have helped him, because especially the way he played this. I mean, I just think, I don't know, man. It's one of those deals where it's like, we hear about JJ McCarthy being young, and unfortunately, I'll say now, it's unfortunate about the injury, but fortunately, he was forced to sit. Right. Yeah. He wasn't able to practice, but he was able to get all the mental reps, which, I always go back to the Tom Brady saying, hey, man, you want to be a great quarterback in this league, man, 90% of it is mental. And if that is the case, I'm going to believe the GOAT when he talks like that. If I'm taking his word for it. Right. Because he's the most least athletic quarterback. Him and Peyton Manning got to be the most athletic quarterbacks I've ever witnessed. And they played at such a high level. So, hey, look, man. I'm ready to see what happens. I'm ready to see what happens with him.
Yeah, the thing with Brady, real quick, is that legendary pocket presence. Like he was never overly. He could move a little bit when he was young, but pretty much every quarterback can do it to an extent until they're 27 or so. But Tom Brady, it was just knowing how to glide in the pocket back and forth, to and fro. That's what made him like the GOAT.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I want to get to, man, Dustin. These are great. First of all, this was interesting to read. This is one of your articles on Vikings Territory that you released. Forgive me for not remembering the date. I think this one was, I think you released on the 22nd, right? So it's semi-recent. It was, and the title was this, Dustin. You said 3 free agents that the Vikings would be crazy to ignore. Now that's some strong words, man. Hey, look, man, that's some strong crazy. Okay, we got to see what's up, man. So I want to go through the first one, and I kind of just want you to touch on. I know, and listen, I want to make sure everybody knows he takes a lot of time in writing these articles. So I mean, I'm asking him about them on live after he sat there and spent a lot of time writing them. So I do want you, for the ones in the chat, if you're not like paying attention to Vikings Territory, make sure you go there. If somebody can grab the link, I don't know, Dustin, if you have the link for if you can pull it up and you can drop it in the chat if you want, I can pin it or whatever. We'll make sure we put it in the description after the show. But make sure y'all go back and read these articles that they're releasing over there, man, because they're interesting and they're good conversations, man, and they make sense. So I want to talk about the first one you said, Dustin. You got Gus Edwards, who's a running back. Can you just I really want to just give the floor to you to touch on why you think he would be a good pickup for the Vikings and why we'd be crazy not to, pursue him.
Absolutely, my man. So here is my little Gus Edwards speech. It's really not that complicated. He's a free agent right now. He's 30 years old. So this is not some big, hey, bring him in and give him some snaps like Aaron Jones' workload. No, this is like an ancillary signing. I think that Ty Chandler could be on the chopping block this summer, like a roster cut casualty, because every time there is even a remote possibility he's this close to getting a promotion, the Vikings go trade for Cam Akers. They don't trust Ty Chandler, probably because he doesn't pass block very well. With Gus Edwards, the reason I like this fit is you know it in your bones, my friend, when it is 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. The last 2 seasons, we're like, son of a bitch. We're not going to score, are we? Gus Edwards is the type of dude at 30 years old where it's 3rd and goal from the 2. We're down by 4. Give Gus Edwards the ball. He's going to score a touchdown, whether it takes 3rd and goal or 4th and goal. We didn't have a monster like that, certainly with Alexander Mattison, and not even last year, indisputably, with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was an upgrade, but he is not a guaranteed goal-to-go type of guy. He's more of an all-around 3-down back. So if you want to specialize it, I recommend Edwards, who at this point in the game will be very cheap, summer free agency. And this is basically kind of a knock on Ty Chandler, although I did love Ty Chandler in the final, 2 or 3 games of the 2023 season when he seemed to break out. But that poor guy, every time he's on the cusp of becoming the RB1 or RB2, they're like, nope, we need to go find Cam Akers. Let's trade for him. So with Gus Edwards, I think he could go a long way to solving some of those short yardage woes. I want to go back to the Dalvin Cook days where if we had it 1st and goal, give it to Dalvin Cook, we're going to score. Right now, we get cute. We're going to pass. It's going to be 2nd and goal from the 4. Of course, we're going to pass 3 times to try to score. No, let's smash it in there. And if you can't do it with Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason, you have Gus Edwards in the waiting. And it's also good for any of these things that are suggested in the article to hedge the bet against injury, because you never know. Last year we saw it with Mekhi Blackman and JJ McCarthy. I think Gus Edwards provides depth and then that short yardage goal line acumen.
Yeah, great spill on that. I don't think Ty Chandler's the guy. Listen, I love the Ty Chandler pick when we got him too, man. I was riding the train, man. I had so much hope for him. I'm like, yo, Ty Chandler's gonna be he's gonna be that guy. It just doesn't work. I mean, listen, he'll have a game like you said. It's my game that I remember. Obviously, I think is one of his best games. If from what I remember, is the Cincinnati game.
Oh yeah, he was a baller.
Was that 2 years? I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was there with Yannick Eckhart and my son.
Okay.
Yep, it was December 2023, and we were up 24-7 going into the 4th quarter, and that was when that moment, my friend. That is when Brian Flores' defense died that year, and it never got good again.
Yep, I remember that. And we thought Ty Chandler was born that game too, though. It's like, hey, we got it. I mean, that because what Alexander Mattison was on the team at that point too, right?
Yep.
Like that game might have made the coaches say, you know what, we can let Mattison walk. We got our young guy now. We good. We got our running back for the next multiple years, but it just didn't. And then after that, it just was downhill. It was just downhill. I'm sure he had like a couple mid games in between there, but it was just not enough. It just isn't enough, man. I miss Dalvin Cook. It's crazy you bring up Dalvin Cook earlier in the show, man, because that's one of my favorite Vikings. Like, for real, I'm being honest. Like, I mean, I miss everything about him. Like, fumble woes sometimes. Injuries, of course, were one of his biggest Achilles heels. But, I mean, like, I miss the home runs, man. I miss being able to look at the team no matter where we are on the field. And I know if Dalvin's back there, there's a chance that he could take it to the crib and turn this whole game around. We just haven't had that in a long time since he's been gone, really.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing on Dalvin is he actually got durable from 2020 onward. The knock on him was the first 2 seasons when he got hurt in both of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that production, especially 2020, when there were no fans in the stadiums and shit like that, and then 2021, he was still in peak form. Even when he started to diminish in 2022, he still had those home run balls. I too missed the Dalvin Cook era. We were really spoiled. We went from 2007 with Peterson without missing a beat through Dalvin Cook through 2022. So you're talking 15 years of what, top 5 running back?
Telling you.
Yeah, top 1 for Adrian, top 5 running back production for Dalvin.
Yeah.
And then on the other 2 on that list, Gerald Everett is a tight end who I think last year, remember the Vikings went and signed Robert Tonyan. The year before, they signed N'Keal Harry and converted him to tight end. If they're going to do that again, and you want to hedge the bet of injury against Hawkinson or let's see, Josh Oliver, I think signing Jared Everett would be a smart acquisition. He crossed paths with Kevin O'Connell with the Rams in 2020, I believe. And then the other one on that list, maybe the one I'm most boisterous about, would be Mike Hilton.
That's my favorite one on the list. So I wanted to touch on that.
Well, his reputation is he is a blitzing cornerback when you need him to blitz. The Vikings employ like the most blitz-happy defensive coordinator in the world. And so I respect that the Vikings are really committed to Isaiah Rodgers. They made him the very first free agent signing of the entire free agents period, March. And I hope that Isaiah Rodgers balls out training camp, preseason, week 1 and beyond. But he's never been a consistent starter. And considering we know Mekhi Blackmon got hurt last year, that's fresh in our memory. I think they need one more cornerback, whether that is trading a 3rd rounder for Jalen Ramsey or going to sign Mike Hilton or Asante Samuel Jr. if those medicals come back. But Mike Hilton is a veteran. He's played for the Steelers. He's got the Mike Tomlin backbone. He played pretty well on the Bengals if you watched Hard Knocks last year, the AFC North edition. And so just like Stephon Gilmore last year or Shaq Griffin, if they're going to sign a free agent who won't cost more than $4 million or something like that, I think Mike Hilton makes a lot of sense. He's kind of that hard-nosed cornerback that Brian Flores could use.
Man, we on the same page, man. I like, hey, Dylan hit it too. Jack Jones was another one on my list. Jack Jones, Las Vegas. I think he would be he gave JJ McCarthy welcome to the NFL moment, picked them off in the preseason game. So I mean, coming back full circle, man. You want to talk about it? Let's do it. But no, I agree 100%. Like one of my positions, and we've repeated this on the show, is just I think cornerback needs to be addressed one more time, just one more. Because like you said, Purple Papa, shout out Purple Papa. He's a big advocate for Isaiah Rodgers. I just don't buy into it yet. Again, like you, because like you said, now I want him to be good. You know what I mean? I definitely do, obviously. But like you said, there's no consistency there. And he lost his job to 2 rookies, or 1 rookie really, but you can say 2 because the Eagles decided to start 2 rookies over you. You know what I mean? That tells me something. Like, I don't know. If I'm reading that story, that tells me something, right? So, and not no shot at those rookies. Those rookies are really good. I see why they beat them out, but it's just like Isaiah Rodgers. And the crazy part is I like them coming out of college because I know his cousin. Like when he went to UMass. So like I have, and usually me, I don't know if you know Dustin, but if I'm have any kind of connection with any player, I'm riding for that player. Like I'm pounding the table. I do want to see him win, but I do feel like we need to upgrade that position group at least one more time. And I'm even okay with going safety too. How do you feel? Is there any safeties that you have on your radar that you feel like the Vikings? I have a video coming soon, maybe tomorrow, but I want to see if there's any safeties that are on your radar that you think would help.
All right. I haven't checked lately on Spot Rack on the free agent list. I am more content with safety because you have Josh Metellus there. We know Harrison Smith is ageless. And anytime Theo Jackson has shown basically been on the field, he's made some sort of splash play. And then Jay Ward, the verdict's still out on him. So I think there is depth there. But the cool part about safety, which is why I'm really not mad that they didn't draft Malachi Starks or Nick Amenwori, is you could usually just go find one in free agency. Like Justin Simmons is there. I think Marcus Williams. Chuck Clark, like there's always, same with edge rushers, there's always like 3 veteran safeties or edge rushers that are spot starters now. So that one can be easily fixed. This one, I respect Theo Jackson because he's been organically constructed in the lab by the Vikings for the last 3 years. He came aboard, I think, in 2022 when the Titans said
Yeah.
goodbye on the practice squad. And what a slow burn, like a real slow cooker experience for Theo Jackson. I'm excited he gets a chance to start, and I am more confident that he is going to be a for sure starter than Isaiah Rodgers. Now, I think at the end of the day, you and I will look back and be like, God, remember when we sounded like a bunch of idiots?
Yeah.
We didn't think Isaiah Rodgers was going to be good. I think we'll talk like that.
Yeah.
But to me, I think Theo Jackson will be empowered. When you hear Harrison Smith saying really dazzling shit about Theo Jackson, Harrison Smith isn't going to fluff things up. He was the guy that predicted Ivan Pace would be a baller, two summers ago, 2 springs ago. So Theo Jackson, I can get behind. But if they needed additional safety, go ahead and grab one.
I speaking of corner too, I got to ask you about one more player then, because you know I've been getting crucified by my family out here, man. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, I believe. Am I crazy, man? I believe in Jeff Okudah. I don't know why, but I do. I just see something there. I feel like Brian Flores, Jeff Okudah. It just sounds right. It sounds like something's gonna happen, and I appreciate what Justin Jefferson came out and was talking highly about him, you know, just saying, hey, man, he's one of those quote unquote annoying cornerbacks because he knocks you off your spot. He's physical, and he also has the speed and recovery time and all that. He just has he has all the tools you want. It's just about, can he put it together? Do you see anything happening with Jeff Okudah? Do you see an opportunity there for him? You think he'll make a splash on the team this year?
All right, I'm going to give you my 2 sides to my Jeff Okudah take. So it is undeniable. We all knew it if you followed the draft in 2020. It was a no-brainer that he was going to be a top 5 pick, maybe even, you know, top 2 at that time. He ended up being 3 to the Lions. The physical talent was there, the size emphatically there, the production at Ohio State, boom, all of that. So I do think that there is a way that the goodness can be squeezed out of him by Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell's team. And I'm going to hope, I'm going to wait until he proves me wrong. The only thing that I will say about why that won't happen is he's been in the league for 5 years, 5 seasons now. Like, why would it take this long for him to break out? And I've learned a lesson, as you know, I'm 41 years old now. I learned a lesson from Irv Smith Jr. You don't say the same shit about the same player every summer, expecting it to be different.
Yeah.
And I always told myself the final year of Irv Smith, when he didn't break out, when we were like, this is the year, I was like, I'm never going to do that again, because I sounded like a dumbass. Yeah. So I'm a little cautious about Jeff Okudah, although he's not, you know, one of our own that we've cultivated. I'm a little cautious. It feels too good to be true that a guy with that much physical talent would be there for the taking. So to me, it's believe it when you see it on whether or not we know for sure he's decent. Like, you know, he's not garbage, but at the 3rd overall pick from the 2020 draft, he's probably not going to morph into a complete stud, but let's hope that he does.
Yeah, man. Listen, that's one player that I've been kind of, you know, hyping up here. So that's one player that I hope turns out to become something. And again, like you said, and I do it's funny you bring up the Irv Smith, man. I remember those years, man. Hey, this year, man, don't forget, we got weapons. Don't forget, we still got Irv Smith. And I'm like, man, knock it off. All right. Like, listen, I jumped off board real quick with that, though, which I feel good about. And I made the right decision, because I loved Irv Smith at the beginning. I thought he could be something special for our team. But yeah, man, the injury after injury after injury, it just started and I mean, yeah, I'm not blaming him. Injuries happen, but man, availability is the best ability, man. And it just, it didn't work out. And it was annoying because every offseason, you know, Vikings fans, not just you, just the whole nation, even me for at least 2 of those years, I feel like, you know, was just always adding him in the weapons bucket of, hey, going into next season, we have this guy and that guy and this guy. Oh, yeah. And we have Irv Smith, too. You know, hey, he's going to be. And it just never panned out, man. It was just a waste of breath. Yeah, that's Irv Booth Jr. But I would have said Irv Booth Jr. Yeah, Andrew Booth Jr. was kind of another one. Good thing is that one didn't last that long, though. We kind of moved off that fairly quickly, which I'm proud of. Speaking on that, Dustin, you know, are you liking the way Kwesi's kind of running the team as far as from a GM standpoint? I like him. I'm a Kwesi guy. Well, what's your stance on Kwesi? Are you on board?
Oh, hell yeah. The only knock at all on that human being is the 2022 draft class. Like his
Yeah.
very first act as a general manager was to go find a pretty wretched draft class. So I think the first impression is what screwed him with a lot of Vikings fans. We had the trade with the Lions. Because there wasn't a premium quarterback in that draft, we couldn't really step on their neck like you normally would. So we found ourselves drafting Lewis Cine, Andrew Booth, Ed Ingram. So almost like a comical list of idiots now that haven't caught on. So yeah, but since then, he found Jordan Addison, Ivan Pace from undrafted free agency. And the almighty verdict, of course, is going to be JJ McCarthy. But I think the draft acumen is improving for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. And I'll always be interested. If I ever interview him, one of the first things I'm going to ask him is a competitive rebuild your idea, or is that what the Vikings ownership said and you effectuated it? Because if he took that as the Vikings slogan, man, he threaded the needle beautifully, because he made the exit paths for Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Eric Kendrick. All of those guys left with honor. And, it didn't feel like, oh my God, they got rid of so-and-so. The only one that was kind of like that was Danielle Hunter. But then they went and got Van Ginkel and Grenard. So it is really tricky to live in both worlds. There were a lot of fans that said, you need to burn this bitch to the ground. You need to, go 3-14 and then get the first overall pick. They think that works. And the Vikings somehow have got to this spot where they have a Super Bowl contending roster, if you assume JJ McCarthy is the real deal. And they didn't even have to tear it all the way down to the ground. They have the 6th best record since Kwesi Adofo-Mensah took over. So I've got a lot of respect for Kwesi. I think we're starting to put his draft sins in the rear view, at least from a talker standpoint. It gets on my nerves. The Vikings could be cruising along with whatever their record was, 12-2 last year. And somebody be like, yeah, but what about Lewis Cine? It's like, what are we talking about? Who cares about Lewis Cine? I'm glad that we get further away from that draft class, because it was pretty damn bad. I think the guy has got better at drafting since then.
Yeah, no, facts, man. Hey, man, great take, man. I'm a Kwesi guy for sure. Definitely a Kwesi guy, man. Your hoodie getting all the love, man. You know what I mean? Everybody talking about the hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I got to get me one for sure.
I think it's Mitchell and Ness.
Mitchell and Ness. Okay.
Yeah, at the time, my wife, I think, spent like $110.
Yeah, top quality. Yeah,
that's
Mitchell
probably like
Ness.
150 these days. But yeah, I got it about I think 4 or 5 years ago, and yeah, sweet. Everyone's being very kind about it. In the
man, they loving it, man. Hey, damn, I like it too. Let's go, man. Shout out to the hoodie. I like so Kwesi to me, and I think you're right about that draft, like kind of his draft woes kind of getting put in the rear view. I will say this though, I think there is one player, and I want your take on this, that I feel like we have to see this year, and there is there can't be any excuses, and that's Dallas Turner. Like, I mean, if you look at, and I think it's a tricky situation, only because the competition, or let's just say the guys that we have in like there with him, they're good. They're producing. I mean, you're talking about Van Ginkel, you're talking about Grenards. I mean, it's hard to say, hey, get out the way just so we can put a young player in, just to say we did it, right? We just had that conversation about the quarterback position. I mean, you just can't do that, right? But I'm interested to see, and I'm interested to hear how you believe Dallas Turner's going to fit in, because this is my thing. Let's say we go through this season and Dallas Turner ends the season with another, 2.5 sacks, only had X amount of the snaps, this, that, and the third. I think he had 3.5 sacks last season, 3.5 on limited snaps. So, it's still kind of, you can see some stuff there. But I mean, do you feel the way I feel? And if not, that's cool. I want to hear your take on it. It's just one of those deals where I feel like we have to see Dallas Turner. I'm not saying he has to go out there and get, 12 sacks and turn into the defensive player of the year, but just a little more production. And then with that production, how do you see him fitting in Brian Flores' defensive scheme this year?
I was right there with the rest of yous wondering, like, God, I wish I could see this guy more last year. And that's mainly because when they played him, he did really cool stuff, like the interception against the Seahawks, that badass sack against the Caleb Williams at US Bank Stadium. So it's not like when he got in there, it was that he was a nothing burger and you couldn't even find him on the field. He was very impactful. So the reason, I do agree with you that it is a requirement that you start to see his snap load increase a lot more. I think it ended up being like 28% last year of defensive plays. And I think this is going to happen almost inevitably because they've gotten rid of the guys who were the reserves in his way last year. So you still have Grenard and Van Ginkel at the top of the ticket. You said yourself you can't bench 2 Pro Bowlers just because you need to see if your 21-year-old edge rusher is any good.
Right.
But Patrick Jones and Jihad Ward did get ample playing time. When it was all said and done last year, Patrick Jones, I think, played about 470 snaps. There is nobody else in the roster orbit right now to get in Dallas Turner's way to get those snaps. So if you want to call him like the OLB3, if he can't beat Bo Richter at training camp, then you do have a bust on your hands. But it's a no-brainer that he's going to do that. So I'm not on bust watch for Dallas Turner. I'm fully aware that some 21-year-old outside linebackers need time to learn their craft, like Nolan for the Eagles last year. As a rookie, he didn't set the world on fire because, checks notes, the Eagles had too many good players on defense. I believe Dallas Turner will end up getting at least 50% of defensive snaps. And then, Andrew Van Ginkel is, I think, going to be 30. So those guys, if anybody gets hurt, they were pretty darn healthy last year. Grenard or Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner would be the next man up. But I challenge your viewers, if you're bored this weekend, go look at the Vikings edge rusher depth. It is a bunch of UDFAs after Dallas Turner, which leads me to believe it is a guarantee he is going to see substantially increased playing time.
Yeah. Speaking of UDFAs, who's your favorite one?
Ooh, probably. Let's see. I like the hype about Zamaya Vaughn recently. I don't know if there's a room there, but I will say my favorite one, aside from the Kansas tackle, that's a no-brainer. I think he's going to make the
Logan Brown.
Logan Brown, probably Silas Bolden, because this team somewhat quietly needs a kick returner. Now, Silas Bolden is not a dude that will make the 53-man roster and boom, you've got your WR3. He's like 5'8", 5'9", 160 pounds. So he's really tiny, but there is a niche in the NFL for that if you want to use him as a gadget or you want to use him on returns. So in a quest to perhaps make the roster as the WR6, which is really just code for a punt returner, I think Silas Bolden is my most fun aspect. It was cool to watch him down the stretch in the college playoff.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Me and you have all the same, like, I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. Like I got a video on Silas Bolden. I'm hype on him, man. I love them. Yeah. For the same reasons. I just feel like the Vikings, that's actually a need. And that's why I gave him the best shot of actually making the 53.
Yeah. The kick returner jobs. Brandon Powell is a free agent back on this board. Nobody has signed him. And then Ty Chandler, we gave the whole speech on him. He may not be on the team. And the other kick returners were Cam Akers and Myles Gaskin. Yeah. So it's not that return men are crazy important, but the Vikings depth chart for return men is completely naked. Like we don't know who's going to beat them. And if you have a dude who is speedy as Silas Bolden and hungry as a rookie, he'd probably be up there as one of my favorite UDFAs. And then I will say Tyler Batty, however you say
Tyler Batty. Okay.
Yeah, he is intriguing because he's 26. That guy should be game ready as F. Like, that's as old as Tyler Shuck for the Saints. You better be ready to play if you're a rookie and 26 years old. So he's intriguing to either make the roster or be a practice squad call-up.
Yeah, that's speaking of Tyler Batty, man, Purple Papa loves Tyler Batty. He got him making the Hall of Fame already, man. Got him in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, okay, Hall of Fame. Okay, all right, cool. But Silas Bolden, man, not even just punt return though. I want to say, I look at the offense of like the Chiefs and stuff like that, and there's some other teams that do it where they have that fast kid. Like I think LeJontay Wester from coming out of Colorado, I was really high on him, for that same reason. I want the Vikings to get that guy that we can run those, bubble screens with, and they can take it to the house, those reverses, sweeps, whatever the case may be, man. Just that guy you can put out there. Obviously you're not going to have him out there a lot, but every once in a while you just spice it up a little bit. We all know KOC and trying to get tricky really doesn't work. I feel like every time KOC tries to do some type of trick play, the shit just turns into a disaster. And sometimes it's like, no. Yes. Like we get that a couple times, but usually it's like, why the hell did you call that? Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But I think Silas Bolden can kind of settle that down a little bit. If you use him the right way, man, I think he can be pretty interesting on the team, to be honest with you. Because I had somebody on, her name's Tanisha. She does Really Flawed. She has a channel, Really Flawed, and she's a big diehard Texas fan.
Yeah.
And she was telling me how Silas Bolden is one of those guys that's just always in the right place at the right time. He's one of those guys that, when you least expect it, like he's out there, he's going to make a play for your football team. And it made me feel, and I can vision it for the Vikings. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I think we've seen a measured process and effort this offseason. Somebody brought this up and messaged me on Twitter. I think it was a fan named Bruce Johnson. I'll have to go back and check. But the Vikings have made an effort this year to improve their yards after catch personnel. They didn't rank very highly in the NFL last year in yards after catch, believe it or not, which is weird because you think that would be required for Sam Darnold to take off. Yeah. But you look at the speed that they've added. Isaiah Rodgers is one of the fastest players in the NFL. He won't be playing on offense, but he could be the kick returner. Drondale Moore, 4.28 speed. Silas Bolden, I think he's 4.28 or 4.29 as well. So I think that you have seen somebody behind the scenes of the Vikings, some analytics guy or gal was like, hey, we need to get some speed so we can get some yards after catch and not have to rely on Justin Jefferson every single play. I think Bolden can fit in like that. We just need to get him over the hump to make the 53 man.
Yeah, man. Let's go, man. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. We appreciate all y'all tonight, man. Y'all are active in the chat, man. This is a great show, man. So for this one for the books right here, man. We have a great conversation. I have really 2 more topics. We got 15 more minutes, really, man. I want to get as much as I can get out of Dustin, man, before he got to head out. So the one thing too, one of the topics that I want to talk, I'm gonna save the best for last. But the one thing I want to touch on right now, and you can just kind of go through it as far as the draft, right? I just want to kind of get your thoughts on, first of all, what do you grade the Vikings? How did you feel when you saw them go for right guard or left guard, sorry, and with the first pick, and then go wide receiver? Like, how did you feel about the whole draft process this year, knowing we went in with no capital at all, but yet we made the best of it, right? We made some things happen. I mean, what's your whole outlook on that this year?
Well, we had a nice transition here because we did a segment about Dallas Turner, and then we talked about no capital at all, and we're talking about how did the draft go? Well, we didn't have any capital because of Dallas Turner. All right, so I ended up, so the very first night when they picked Donovan Jackson, my first instinct was, okay, on the consensus big board, he was like number 34, 35 or something like that. And my initial thought was, you could have traded back and still got him. I learned shortly thereafter, he's from Houston, and the Texans probably would have scooped him there. So when you learn nuance like that, I was like, all right, this is a sweet pick. The only beef that I had at all with this draft was there's this thing that still gnaws at me. I want to know if the Atlanta Falcons offered the same offer that they did to the Rams to the Vikings, because if so, I would have pounced on that shit and taken next year's first rounder, drafted Will Johnson. He would have still been available in round 2, and then we'd be tracking the Falcons this year to figure out where we're going to get their first rounder. The only reason I bring that up is because for my job writing about the Vikings, it would be so fun to have 2 first rounders next year. It sounds like I'm poo-pooing all over the pick. I'm not. We, including, I think on your show, my friend, 3 years ago, we bitched about this offensive line, thinking nobody there ever understands that you can go get good guards. Nobody gets this except the fans here and there. They have finally gotten with the time. They even signed defensive tackles we've been asking them to sign since Kevin Williams left 12 years ago. They understand that you have to build the trenches if you want to win the Super Bowl. So bada bang, they went and got Ryan Kelly. They went and got Will Fries. I thought that they would be content based on their past habits. Like, slow down. We already got Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. We're not going to go get you another guy. But they disagreed. They went and got even deeper in the trenches for Donovan Jackson. So in that vein, yes, this is what we've asked for since we started making the psychosis memes in 2021. Wondering, you can go sign a guard. It is legal to do that. I am very glad that on paper, across the board, the five sum is indestructible if every one of these guys lives up for the talent. You remember how complacent we got, my friend? We'd going into a Packer week or playing against the Giants, we would accept that Garrett Bradbury was going to get his ass beat. We would just scout it and be like, well, he's going to get bowled over. There's nothing we can do about that. We don't have to do that anymore. That's what I love the most is we got used to that. We're like, well, he's a good run blocker. He's going to get mauled by Dexter Lawrence. We don't have to think that anymore, and I love that they built the trenches.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's this. I heard somebody say that might have been this. This might have been the safest pick in the draft. Like all around, might have been the safest pick. Like as far as just the guy that's going to go in there, he could be a 10-year starter. There's been a lot of reports coming out. He's going to be simply a 10-year starter. He may not be an all pro or anything, but he's going to be good. He's going to be able to hold it down for you. And I'm excited about it, man. Usually, I got to admit, as a fan, I would say maybe, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I always ignored just looking at how important, knowing football, I know how important it is. But when the draft comes around as a fan, you always want the shiny, give me the pass catcher, give me the quarterback, give me the running back. You know what I mean? Even maybe the hard hitting linebacker, defense, their edge rusher, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to just, we can find a guard, just put one of those big boys in there and hopefully they work out. It just feels good knowing that they're intentional. I think that's one thing I really like about Kwesi is how intentional he is. That's one thing that makes me a huge fan of him is the intentionality that you're seeing across the board. I love it, right? Like I just love it because anytime there's something that needs to be addressed, he addresses it and he makes it very clear that he's going to address it. He doesn't really beat around the bush with all these, press conferences and shit. He kind of straightforward guy, clean. I like that's what I like, man. I like it. I think it was a great pick, but I will say this: the second pick, and I want your thoughts on that. Going wide receiver. Why do you think that is? Because I'll tell you, as a Vikings fan, it confused me. Yes, I know that Jordan Addison may face a 3-game suspension, 4-game, whatever the case may be. But you just paid a wide receiver $40 million. You have Jordan Addison, who's proven that he's a really good receiver, right? At least he would be a 1 on multiple teams, I would think. And you have TJ Hawkinson. You go into the draft with 4 picks. Why are you using one on a wide receiver at that pick? What's your thoughts on that?
I was equally as surprised. I wasn't flabbergasted, nor was I like, what are they doing? These guys don't get it. But I was surprised because I have believed their hype and their steam for Jalen Nailor for these last 3 off seasons. So when they called Ty Felton's name, I was like, that is fascinating. I don't remember who I would have drafted on the board at that time. It was pretty darn late to have like a big credible wish list. Mm-hmm. But even though Addison will probably miss the first 3 games of this season, you don't draft the guy in the 3rd round because, oh no, we're going to be without Jordan Addison for 3 games. You have to be a longer term thinker than that. Mm-hmm. I personally think that this season is Jalen Nailor's off ramp because otherwise you start to wonder if they are totally enamored with Jalen Nailor, you wouldn't need Ty Felton. Why would you spend a 3rd rounder on a WR4? So I think there's a reason we haven't been whispering or chanting about a Jalen Nailor extension. I don't think it's a thing. Like he showed up last year, and because he was healthy, we were like, yeah, this guy's good finally. He was decent. He caught touchdowns, but he had 200 something receiving yards. Like you could do a whole lot better than that at WR3. So I give Jalen Nailor mad props for staying healthy, catching 6 touchdowns, I think it was. But I think this is kind of like we were talking about with the guard spot. You are allowed to get better. Like you're allowed to do better than Garrett Bradbury at center. You're allowed to upgrade at WR3. And I think selecting Ty Felton with mid-round draft capital is a sign that Jalen Nailor will hit free agency next year. And then bada bang, we don't even have to worry about a WR3 because you have it built in with Felton. That's my personal theory. Yeah. I don't have any sources or anything leaking that to me.
Right. Because Brendan, he mentioned the name I was going to mention too with Rondale Moore. I mean, and that added to the why for me. Yeah. It kind of added to the why, just kind of piled on top of the why for me. Because I was just, why so many? You know what I mean? Like, why so many? And I, some of our community here in the chat, when we've had these conversations, we're talking about they believe this may be Jordan Addison's last go round because when it comes to his contract, the Vikings aren't going to do it. And maybe it's because they can't afford it, or they just feel like maybe they shouldn't have to afford it because they have Justin Jefferson locked up, and Ty Felton is a guy that they're going to groom into that position or something like that. I mean, do you see that happening by chance or what?
So I see the legitimacy of the argument that they are prepping for the afterlife without Addison. I can see where that comes from, but I swear, I love Jordan Addison. His electricity, his playmaking, ability. Like if Jefferson is the yards guy, then Addison is the touchdowns guy in my mind. So I think it is more me being stubborn. I don't want to believe that this is Jordan Addison's last year. Why would you, the one guy you drafted really well, you're going to get rid of him now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a smoking gun of evidence that that Addison will be trade bait. And let's face it, Addison still has 3 more years of team control.
Yeah.
And that's a long time. We'll start to talk about the idea of an extension, I think this next time last year, but then it won't really turn white hot until the offseason of 2027. So I really think that this is to get a look at Felton when Naylor is no longer on the team. And if Jordan Addison gets on his July annual bullshit, then you have a contingency plan. If he can't figure out his morals and ethics clause stuff, then you could pivot to Felton. But no, I am a Jordan Addison guy from head to toe. And I would be pissed if they traded him or, just drafted his replacement prematurely.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Steven, man. You just because you said, can you get a shout out? I got you, man. Let's go, man. Shout out Steven in the building. Let's go. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out Malik, man. Shout out Norris in the building. I see y'all, man. Gary, I see all y'all, man. Love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all always tapping in, man. I saved the best for last. Dustin, man, real quick, man. We have 51 minutes, and it's an article you wrote, and I just want you to kind of spill, man. I'm going to give you the floor here. Hold on 1 second. Because I want to get this right, man. This was my favorite. When I see stuff like this, I get excited. JJ McCarthy is about to shock people. I just read the title. That's it. Explain why.
All right, here is my speech. I'm glad you asked me this. I haven't given my McCarthy speech in about a month or so, and I've added some new flair to it. If we were hanging out in any season before Kevin O'Connell, if Mike Zimmer was the head coach, if Rick Spielman had drafted McCarthy, if we were flashing it back to Leslie Frazier or Brad Childress, I would be spending the months of June and July wondering if JJ McCarthy, wondering if our quarterback is going to be any good. I would be paranoid about it. I do not feel that way about JJ McCarthy one bit. And people like to remind me, they're like, hey, first rounders sometimes don't work out. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I know that. Trust me. I have no fears about JJ McCarthy, and I'm going to tell you why. So we have this head coach in Kevin O'Connell, who has widely renowned already as the quarterback whisperer. He has empowered Kirk Cousins to play the best ball of Cousins' career in 2022 and 2023. He made Joshua Dobbs a household name for 2.5 weeks in 2023. He made Nick Mullins become a 400-yard passing game merchant effortlessly. He went up with Sam Darnold and said, do you need a career reclamation? Come to Minnesota. We're going to win 14 games together. He is empowering all of these quarterbacks to do the very best that they can, even if your upside is 2.5 weeks of goodness, which was the case for Josh Dobbs. O'Connell has been in charge of this team for 3.5 years. He's the quarterback whisperer. Do we really think the guy he's going to tie his legacy to, he's going to swing and miss on JJ McCarthy? The one guy that he probably started scouting before you and I could even imagine. There is no way where O'Connell, who is known for this quarterback cultivation, is going to swing and miss when he has his one chance to develop quarterback. So for me, in my heart of hearts, when I am thinking about McCarthy, I am wondering, is he going to be absolutely lethal like Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow? Or is he going to be kind of in that Dak Prescott, Jordan Love tier where we know he's good, he's not elite every single Sunday? I am trying to figure out between those two, that floor and that ceiling, where McCarthy is going to live. That's honestly how I think about it. It's almost like if you're going on vacation and you're going to go scuba diving with your friends or your wife, or whatever, and you're like, hey, are we going to see any fish in the ocean while we're scuba diving? Of course you're going to see fish. That is where they live. They live in the ocean. Kevin O'Connell, he went and found his quarter. Is he going to make this quarterback good? Of course he does. He's showing you 4 different guys. He's made this work. So it's not a mystery to me whether or not McCarthy is going to pop. And that isn't even like take into account that he has the second best defense in the NFL at his side in Brian Flores per EPA per play and DVOA. You have the second best defense. And then, by the way, you have all this weaponry and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. All of this situation is tailor-made for anybody, let alone McCarthy, to thrive. So for me, it's wondering about how good will these Vikings be? McCarthy is going to have some games where we're like, oh, yuck, he looked like a rookie that game. That's okay. That's how it works. But in terms of the long-term prognosis, the reason I am so comfortable with the selection and with this process, I mean, they even told Aaron Rodgers to take a hike. Like, we don't need your Hall of Fame ass here. We've got J.J. McCarthy. You don't do that. And think about all of the people that have rallied. Jim Harbaugh, T.J. Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell, everybody who sounds off on McCarthy says the same thing. The guy has it. He looks the part. He sounds the part. He's going to be good. Like, this was kind of in a very smaller example in the summer of 2023 with Ivan Pace. I remember Harrison Smith saying, and Ivan Pace, he's going to be good. When you start to hear the same people say the same thing, and these are really credible people, it's not that hard to predict the future. McCarthy is going to be good. It's just what level right now are we? Is he going to be elite, or is he going to be in that Dak Prescott tier?
Yeah, man. Hey, let's go, man. Shout out Dustin for the amazing JJ McCarthy rant. You know how we feel over here about JJ McCarthy, man. Listen, I ride for him to the wheels fall off. I'm super excited. You know, I'm trying to like make sure that my takes are right, you know, when it comes to JJ McCarthy, because I've been pounding the table, man. He got to be good. You know, I don't want to eat crow. I don't want to eat crow.
You won't.
But you know, look, Gary's talking about rap got a Woody right now. Gary's stupid. Hey, for sure, man. Hey, I love some JJ McCarthy, man. I'm definitely a JJ McCarthy a fanboy, if you want to call. I don't care what you call it, man. One thing for sure, man. I'm riding for the quarterback. I've been waiting for my team in the Minnesota Vikings to jump out there, take a risk, and get a quarterback, their own quarterback, not going and signing some free agent from some other team and bringing him on and thinking we're going to change his whole trajectory of his career, which, I mean, Kevin O'Connell has proven to do that, obviously, a.k.a. Sam Darnold, but still yet, man, just go select your guy. I think we brought KOC here to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's what he was brought in the building to do, is to locate a quarterback and turn him into the franchise guy. JJ's that guy that's on the list, man, and I can't wait to see it come to fruition, man. I'm super excited, man. Speaking of Ivan Pace, real quick, and then I'll let you get up out of here, man, because we had a great show, man. We headed on an hour. Ivan Pace, man, I was an Ivan Pace. I'm the president of Pace Gang, if you didn't know, man. I was screaming Pace Gang from before the draft. I said the Vikings need to get him in the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this dude is a beast. How do you really feel about Ivan Pace? Do you think he's good enough, though, to last in the league? Do you think Kobe King coming in, you know, us drafting Kobe King, you think there's something threatening him? How do you feel?
Oh, hell no. Kobe King can be good, but that doesn't have any effect on Ivan Pace. Actually, the next Ivan Pace talker will be about his restricted free agency when the Vikings pay him. I certainly think he has staying power. He's versatile. I think as they continue to deploy him as like the diet Micah Parsons role, I think that will do wonders for him. And then alongside Blake Cashman, who we all fell in love with last year and decided that he was the claim to fame to keep the team undefeated. I think you can use that tandem indefinitely for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, I don't think that anything about Ivan Pace has been a mirage. At the time during that draft and that undrafted free agency, I didn't give a shit that he was 1.5 inches short, too small. Like, who cares? Like, who really cares? And he's proven, I mean, he said, y'all done fucked up on Instagram like the day he wasn't drafted. So, I am also an Ivan Pace guy, and I expect him to be the Vikings starting off-ball linebacker for the next 4 to 9 years.
Let's go. 4 to 9. Let's go. Pace Gang. Hey, man. Shout out to you, man. Well, look, Dustin, man, I appreciate you, man. We kept it right at an hour. I want to make this, I mean, if you don't mind, man, hopefully we can do this again sooner than later. Let's not wait 3 years. I think that's kind of criminal, man. You know what I mean? I think we need to do it more often. Maybe I can, you know, extend the invite again and you be willing to jump on maybe right before the season starts, after we get through some training camp stuff, so we can really have some good conversation, man. I think obviously the numbers showing it, man. People are tapped in. They respect your takes, man. They're here to watch you and listen to you, man. And I appreciate it too, man. Learned a lot, learned how you feel, and I enjoy it. You know, I always enjoy these type of lives where I get somebody like you who's really like, you know, digs into the team and really, you know, just goes deep, man. Because I'm more of just you know, entertaining, just like I love my team. I'm gonna talk my shit, You know what I mean? But I'm not worried about the 60% completion percentage and all this shit. I just don't, it's just one of those deals, man. So I always respect guys like you, man, that can come on and really talk the numbers and talk about what the team's really doing and being close to the team and having that insight. So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate all of your compliments and the invitation. I will for sure join you in August whenever you hit my line. Whenever you need the statistics, the 60% stuff, you let me know because I always got my fingers in that. Okay.
I know, man. Hey, man, that's the thing, man. I suck at that shit. And the thing is, I wish I was good at it, but I'm like, I'm just not. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think I'm just lazy. That's what it really boils down to. I'm just too lazy to look into it. Where I just like talking ball, man. I like talking ball, but in a different way. I just like repping my team. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what it is, man. But
all right, man. You take it easy.
Yeah, man. You too, man.
Later.
All right, brother. Man, shout out to Dustin, man. Shout out my guy, man. What a great show, man. You know what I mean? He was, hey, listen, I love having the dudes on that really be writing articles and all that, man, because that's something I can't do. You know what I mean? Or something I'm not going to do. You feel me? Like, for sure. Hold on. Let me catch up with y'all, man. Y'all been going crazy in the chat tonight, man. Before we go, we're going to have a little conversation, man. Let's see, man. A lot of tools in the chat, lube them, circle tool. What's going on in the chat, man? What the hell y'all got going on, man? Y'all beefing? Hey, shout out SKOL Mafia. SKOL Mafia, man. Appreciate you, man. Y'all make sure that you guys go and support his friend, man. Something happened. Matter of fact, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Actually, you know what? SKOL bro, I got you. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna pull it up here. I really don't. I told him don't send it to me. He didn't send it to me, but he did post it. Hold on, y'all. I got like 15 more minutes. I can turn up, man. Shout out our boy Dustin, man. Just tapping into the show. Let's go. Hold on. Let me actually, you know what? Let me just go to my channel. All right, boom. Man, how y'all feel about the show tonight, man? Y'all rock with Dustin, man? I rock with Dustin, man. I'm a boy. I rock with Dustin, man. I think you're decent. Good guy, man. I'm saying that's the broski, man. Let's go. Hey, oh yeah, I got one bar and Lup hit me up yesterday. Lup hit me up yesterday. They say they ready to come on. So we have something in the works with them. So y'all stay tuned to that. That's actually happening not next week, but the week after. Not next week, because next week is what do you call it? 4th of July week, obviously. But the week after that, man, one bar and Lup, man, they tapping in with the dog, man. We're gonna have a party that night. You hear me? Let me show this, man, though, man. Make sure we supporting the bro, man, right here. Man, and I ain't gonna lie, man. Listen, y'all, I'll let y'all read it right now. This is what the cause is. Look at this. Oh my God, I feel so bad for him, man. Holy, man. But man, here it is, man. Here's the post. I hate to show this. I feel like I'm like doing something wrong, even just showing this, man, because it's so like, I don't know, man. It just hurts my heart to see this, man. I couldn't imagine. I remember my SKOL bro called me when this happened, like the day after it actually happened to the guy. And man, my heart was heavy, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm just picturing it. I'm like, So this is what we're supporting, man. But you know how our community does, man. We always come together, man. SKOL Mafia, y'all all know, man. Every time something's going on for donations, whether it's my father, whether it's little JJ, whether it's anything, man, SKOL Mafia is damn near the first one in line to start donating and doing what he got to do for the cause, bruh. That's a fact. Like, we all know that, man. So if SKOL bro asking for y'all support, y'all know what time it is, man. You feel me? So, man, shout out to him, man. I hope we're praying for your friend, man. I mean, that's a nasty injury there, man. But the good thing is he's still here. He's still alive. And, I don't know. My SKOL bro told me he may not ever be able to climb a tree again, but he can breathe, man. He lived to fight another day, So that's always a blessing, man, for sure. That's always a blessing, man. Sorry about that, SKOL bro, man. Hopefully your boy, man. Just let him know man. We We definitely praying for him, man. He got the Vikings community behind him. I don't know which team he roots for, SKOL bro. I don't know if he's a Bills fan, but you gotta let him know, man. Hey, what Bills Mafia doing for you, man? You know what I'm saying? You might as well come on over here, man. We love you, broski. You know what I mean? We want you over here, man. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you might as well be a Vikings fan. Straight up. You might as well be a Vikings fan. We got you. We got you. What Bill Mafia doing for you, man? Nothing. Nah. Shout out to him, man. You know, make him laugh a little bit, man. Let him hear the sound bite, man. SKOL, bro. For sure. But yeah, man, make sure y'all support, man. For sure. Make sure y'all support. That's priority tonight. That is priority. Father is a Vikings fan. Let's go, man. Oh, yeah, we definitely got to turn up for the bro now. You feel me? Link is pinned at the top of the chat. Link is pinned at the top of the chat to support this, man. So make sure y'all supporting. Hey, real quick, too, Adam, we got a couple things we're going to do tonight. Adam, you know what I mean? Shout out to Adam, the book, man. Hire yourself first, all right? We have a friend that is an art. How many people you know friend is an Arthur? You know what I'm saying? How many friends you know? How many friends you know is an Arthur? You feel me? Like straight up, man. How many friends you know, man? I told my peoples, man, look at man, my boy wrote this book, man. Do you have a friend that's an Arthur? I didn't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like facts. But shout out to Adam, man. Listen, man, Amazon. Go grab this book, man. Adam, y'all all know Adam in the chat. Go grab this book. And I'm telling you, if you want to change your life, bro, like you really want to get in your bag. Like if you somebody who reads these type of books and you want to get in your bag, you can tell by the title, man. Yeah, you know I'm saying if you want to stay broke, then go ahead and don't read it. If you want to get in your bag, go cop the book. That's a fact. I'm telling you that right now, man. Shout out Adam, man. Shout out Adam. Last but not least, Norse. Shout out Norse, man. Shout out Norse and shout out everybody, man, that's donated for my father, man. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, I kind of don't want to take away from SKOL Mafia's boys. So, you know, but I do want to show this. I'm actually doing a show tomorrow night as well with my boy TP Way the Giant. And we'll definitely talk about this more tomorrow, but I still do want to show this, man. We still are taking donations, but don't donate tonight. If there's anything you were going to donate for this tonight, man, make sure you do it towards SKOL Mafia's friend, man. I would really appreciate that instead. So, but tomorrow night we'll talk about it, man. I just want to remind you guys though, we are doing a drawing soon, man. The drawing's coming. It's coming real soon. And we got a bunch of people in there already, man. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting, man. I love y'all to death for that, man. You know what I mean? I love that to death, man. Straight up, man. Let's go, man. Malik, man, you can't be tripping, man. You can't be tripping. You can't be tripping on bro like that. I ain't gonna lie. You can't do that, bro. Come on, man. You gotta keep it G, bro. You can't do that, bro. Don't do that. Shout out Jay, man. I see you, man. Shout out Jay. Shout out my boy. Shout out my boy, man. Let's go. Let's go, Jay. Let's go, Jay. Hey, man. Hey, I love y'all, man. Y'all. Hey, look. Oh, speaking of TP sent me the link. Yeah, I'll be setting up the show, man. TP sent me the link, man. So we will be setting up the show. Hey, Really Flawed, are you live? Are you live right now, Really Flawed? I thought I seen you. I thought I seen your things go live. Shout out to you. Are you live right now? Because if you are we coming over there? Let's see. Oh no, you're not live. If you were live, we were over there. Let's see. I didn't mean to be funny. My bad. They said something about him climbing it. She happened to be alive. No, facts, Malik, man. You got yeah. Nah, facts, man. I know you don't mean no harm, man, but you know, sometimes this ain't the time. You feel me, man? I know you good peoples, man. I know you good people. I know you ain't mean nothing, man. I know you good peoples, bro. Yeah, you know, we gotta keep it G with our peoples, man. We can't do that, man. We family over here, man. Now, if this was some package chat or something, man, do your thing. You feel me? But we got you. I'm gonna tell you right now, Malik, because one thing for sure. If it was something that you had going on, I'm gonna tell you right now, SKOL Mafia, he the type, he'd be the first one there for you, bro. I just gotta tell you that. He'd be the first one there for you. I bet any money on that. You know what I mean? I bet any money on that. Shout out everybody in the chat though, man. I'm about to get up out of here, man. I love y'all, man. Listen, tomorrow I will be live. Tomorrow we live again, man. So make sure you tap in. Jay, man, good to see you tonight, brother. I'm glad you was able to get in there, man. Good to see you tonight, man. Good to see everybody tonight, man, because I felt like I didn't go live forever. The week freaking took forever to get here. So it felt good seeing y'all. Hopefully y'all liked the show tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the guest, man. Dustin, man, my boy, man. He cooked, man. Let's go. Shout out Dustin, man. And tomorrow we will be back, man. I'll let your boy.